So
I saw that Steve Porter did a great piece in last week's Myrtle Beach Herald,
Right.
and our show sponsor, and really went through preparing for the 20th anniversary season, but a lot of what has to happen, your new treasurer, your volunteer board treasurer,
Right.
Mary Slavey, and all the efforts she and y'all are getting into to really plan for, as you said, continuing to underwrite and support the symphony for many, many years to come. For many years to come. And a lot has to happen, though. I hope folks will go online, if they didn't see copies of that last week, to myrtlebeachherald.com and print out. There was a great shot of you as well, Charles, I guess rehearsing, getting ready for this Sunday's performance. And it really is getting close. What are some of the things that you do? How far out do you have to begin preparing for each performance?
me, myself, I roughly speaking, just for my own thinking, I go with a 3-month kind of schedule.
Is that right? Yeah.
And when it gets to 3 months before, I start laying the groundwork and doing some reading, rereading biographies.
Is that right?
Yeah, because I'm the one who's bringing this whole experience to people. I should know these things.
Yeah.
And the uncanny thing about it, I was just saying to my wife this morning, it's like I've done all of these pieces a number of times.
Right.
And each time, I can't believe that I did this piece without knowing this particular thing.
No.
There's so much in there to study and to make sure you know, make sure you can hear.
Yeah.
But at any rate, I go with that first month just trying to lay the groundwork, thinking of, okay, what is this program all about? Then the next month, I try to dig in and get back to work on the minutia of the piece.
Right.
And then by the last month, I'm just trying to incorporate that into production, trying to memorize things like that.
And when you say you're studying up and studying biographies and otherwise, Charles, you're not really you're getting this across in music for viewers who haven't attended a performance. So what's the significance of studying biographies, for instance? You mean of composers?
Yeah, I'll just reread it just to get an idea of the historical context of things.
Sure.
And, it's just for me to understand where that composer's coming from. It's just, and the thing about it is it's work like anyone else's work, but it's also very gratifying for me. So this is what I get to do, really. And I get to delve into these things and learn all of this stuff for myself and then produce a product as a result. And I'm very lucky.
If a viewer hadn't been to the Symphony in, let's say, 5-10 years even, or if they've just moved to the area and have never been, what are they going to see this Sunday? Why should they be out there, even arriving a little early? I think they need to pick up the phone and dial the 448-8379 number now, since it is probably going to be a sold-out performance.
Yeah, I would. I would just go ahead and get tickets. In fact,
right now.
The way I would be with that is I would get the tickets and pick them up so that I could just walk in the door. That's just me, but you never know what to expect.
Right. A lot of folks like to just arrive, but if they got out there at 3, even an hour early, they could be there for the conversations with you and see some of the other performers for this Sunday's show. But if they haven't been, why do they need to be here this Sunday?
Well, I think it's built in for a lot of them. I think most of our new audiences are people who had this elsewhere. They had it wherever they came from.
Sure.
And many of them move into this area not realizing that there's something comparable right here.
Right.
And that's the biggest quote I get all the time after concerts. We really enjoyed it so much, we had no idea. And so, and I think Steve mentioned it in that article, that if we had everyone in this expanded metropolitan region aware of the Long Bay Symphony, our audience would be a good deal larger.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
our performance, sure.
Yeah, or maybe going to 2 performances.
Right, sure,
that type of thing.
And that's something you all could do.
Oh, yeah, easily.
Really?
But we have to have it justified by ticket sales.
Right.
But the thing is, our attendance has grown so much over the past 3 years or so.
Tremendous, Charles.
Yeah. And I think it's just an indicator of the maturing of the community.
That is wonderful.
But what to expect? I think they would expect a professional-sounding orchestra playing some great stuff, delving into one of America's greatest composers, one whose musical style is universally enjoyable. People who don't go to the symphony would still, they know this stuff. Rhapsody in Blue, these great Gershwin songs that they've heard in all sorts of contexts throughout their life. we have a great saxophone quartet coming from Philadelphia.
Really? Great.
The Philadelphia, yeah. I mean, we've got Lynn Roberts doing these classic Gershwin tunes.
Right.
Philip Powell, who most everyone around this area.
Sure.
He's doing Rhapsody in Blue, plus a lesser-known work that Gershwin wrote as part of a tour to celebrate the 10th anniversary of Rhapsody in Blue. It's the I Got Rhythm Variations. So he takes that very famous tune, which Lynn will also sing.
How exciting.
And he takes it on a little journey, turns it into a waltz, turns it into, various different types of music.
Right.
And it's just, it's a charming piece. And Gershwin, he's one of those people that you would say, boy, if he had only lived 10 or 15 more years, what would he have produced? Mm-hmm. Because the genius that's in particularly these later works, this Cuban Overture was written in 1932, and the I Got Rhythm Variations in 1934, and he died, I believe, in 37 or 38. These are works of someone who came up from the popular music world, but had ambitions and had the talent to become much more, and he left us a handful of great works.
I love those words coming out of your mouth, Charles, about for people who don't go to symphonies.
Yeah.
This is a great performance for people.
Absolutely.
First was cheering as a Sunday school for people who don't attend Sunday school, and it's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's important for folks to think about an experience of getting out. If they think, I wouldn't go to a symphony, but they're really going to experience something, not only this Sunday, but the subscription series, the cost for that is so low to be able to lock up for the concerts. They can pick up the phone now, the 448-8379. You said there's a voicemail there. If they left a message,
right?
They could. Someone could call them
someone
back.
will call them
by
right
and
back.
pick up tickets today or tomorrow before the performance on Sunday.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I would want to mention also that we will still be offering subscriptions, being that this is our first concert.
Yes.
And even more conveniently, if they want to buy a single ticket for this concert and then turn it in as that much cash value toward a subscription.
Great. Wow. That's
so
a great
you really
deal.
can't lose. You can come check it out and not worry if you don't want to bother with trying to get a subscription that day.
That's a great idea.
Come by the office after that and use that money toward the subscription.
That's fantastic. All the seats, so it's assigned seating, Charles.
Oh, yes.
Okay, great.
There's the aisle seats are hotly contested.
Right.
There's an extra charge for those.
Yeah. I've seen some of those folks just sitting there. And as you highlight that, for folks who haven't been to a symphony before, obviously for their first experience, there's something there they're going to love.
Oh, gosh. And that's the whole idea of this orchestra, in my view. I've always had the mission to make it as user-friendly as possible, so that people recognize some things and then also learn from it. But this year, the symphony, we're featuring some big standard symphonies. On the October program, we'll be doing the Beethoven Third Symphony, the Eroica, one of the best known, probably second to, actually the Fifth and the Ninth are pretty well known too. But this is a landmark piece. We're also doing Tchaikovsky's Symphony, Tchaikovsky's Second Symphony, in the April concert, and then the Shostakovich Symphony No. 5 in January, which is a major epic piece. But these are all in like the top 10 or 20 works. So, I think, someone else asked me in terms of what people would expect, I think the most thrilling thing about going to a concert is the thrill of live performance. To actually realize that there are 75 musicians on that stage producing that sound acoustically on their instruments. Nothing's amplified. They're all putting out sound, and we're controlling the dynamics and everything about it. And it's such a human element there. That's what makes it so thrilling. That
is very exciting. I hate to say it, Charles. There's so many things I'd like to get into. We're going to have to get you back another time. We've just got a couple of minutes. When we think about, for you, inspirations, folks that have really helped get you interested in the music, had you thought about being in music from an early age? Yeah, my father was a musician. Is that right? And after spending early childhood without his pushing it at all, because he'd pushed it on my two older brothers, and seeing that I nonetheless was also interested in it, he then supported it very strongly and bought me my first orchestral scores, which I could not understand at all. I said, Dad, what did you get me this for? He got me the 9 symphonies, and for Christmas once. I'm like, what is this? And then I got into it, and I just was hooked. And I knew from probably the time I was 14 that this is what I wanted to do. Oh, yeah. I remember seeing your daughter at one of the performances there at the the great Music and Arts Center there, probably 5 or 6 years ago, and she was scurrying around like my daughter now.
Yeah.
Has she gotten the bug?
Oh yeah, she plays in the youth orchestra.
Is that right?
Yeah, she's in the cello section, and
how exciting!
Just doing a great job. It's just, and what I emphasize to her too, and I would emphasize to all parents, it's like sports in a way. I mean, when you get a student involved in sports, it helps their growth so much. Whether or not they become a professional player, that's not the issue. And the same thing is true with the music. It provides such an insight and such a self-discipline that whether or not they pursue it after high school, or if they pursue it there but not as a vocation, it doesn't matter. It's given them a perspective on life that they wouldn't have had.
You all have some volunteer opportunities as well, Charles?
Oh, yeah. We have a wonderful guild. And I might add, it's not just a women's guild. There are several men in it now.
Good, yeah.
And it's just a wonderful social organization that, well, not only that, they have a great time socially, but they help us out unbelievably. They have all sorts of creative fundraisers and really have provided a lot of our critical operating costs for the symphony and for the youth orchestra.
Joanne Milner, we highlighted recently, who had been real active. I know B.J. Thomas, I saw last week at Hilda's birthday party. She and Nick Sherfacy and others who've been long supporters and continue to. I'm glad you mentioned that it's not just for women, that guys need to be involved when you've got so many professional men, male men in the orchestra. Oh, yeah. You sure want to make sure there's a good, broad coverage there.
Sure.
That's fantastic. Charles, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
We're excited about this Sunday. Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks.
Not that you need it. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Maestro Charles Jones Evans coming up next. You got to get out there early. You got to get out there early. It's getting close. This Sunday, the performance is at 4 p.m. at the Music and Arts Center there at Myrtle Beach High School. It's going to be a tremendous day. We didn't have a chance to talk about their amazing auditorium there. True professional performances of all kinds there at the Music and Arts Center. Take the time. Call the office now, 448-8379. I know it's early. You may not have had your coffee. This is a great way to wake up. Say these 5 words: the year of the symphony. Say it. The year of the symphony. The year of the symphony. It's a great opportunity. You can get out there, help them kick off the 20th anniversary this Sunday. The conversations with the conductor at 3:15. Take the time to get out there an hour early. Make sure you can get a ticket. A lot of folks that may not have called the office, a lot of folks who aren't seeing the show right now may not have thought, I need to get a ticket early. I need to get a ticket early, thinking it's not going to be a sold-out performance. You need to call 448-8379 or go online to longbaysymphony.com. It will be a sold-out performance. You need to get there early, and you need to be there for the 3:15 conversations with the conductor. Take the time. Go online to longbaysymphony.com or give them a call, 448-8379. Can you say it? The year of the symphony.